Hi everyone, it's Emma here, or My Pampered Pets, and I thought I would give you an update on what's been going on in the My Pampered Pets life, because I think it's been a year since I last uploaded and a lot has happened. So I'm really sorry that it has taken me this long to update you. I've basically been having a lot of technical difficulties. So I've got quite an old laptop and it's got a bit of a rubbish editor on there. And I've made all these videos throughout the year, and every time I've tried to edit them and put them together, the editor has crashed. I've lost all the work and it's just been really annoying, and I've just not been able to render a video and it's been so frustrating. So first update is on these beautiful rabbits. As you can see, all 5 are here and they are doing really well. They've been bonded coming up to 2 years now and we've not really had any issues, I don't think. There's been the odd bit of fur pulling, but I think that's normal with any bond, and that tends to be at springtime with spring fever going on, where rabbits can get a bit funny with each other, but nothing serious, and the bond is really strong and they're doing really well. But we did have a bit of a scare with Ruby. She did go into the early stages of stasis, which is where rabbits stop eating and the gut starts to shut down. And of course it did happen in the middle of the night, so I had to take her to an emergency vet and get her looked at, but thankfully they gave her a gut stimulant and some pain relief and she came around really well, and by the next morning she was absolutely fine and munching away, so that was really good. Apart from that, I don't think anything major has happened with these guys, but they are doing really well, as you can see. And the exciting bit of news with this is that we may be adding in a 6th member of the family. We don't know for sure if it is going to work, but I am going to be attempting to bond in another rabbit with these guys, and I will explain why very shortly. In fact, we'll go see him now. Hello. So this little guy is Chance, and of course he's just gone and hid. He is my foster bunny, well, one of them. So in the last year I have been fostering a lot of rabbits. I am a moderator on a Facebook group called Bunny Angels, and what we basically do is we find rabbits that are at risk, so in bad situations. You may have seen me foster before, I've done some videos before on some of the rabbits. And so rabbits at risk might be strays, they might be rabbits that are being given away for free. That's very risky because they could be used as dog bait, snake food, all kinds of things. Or there'll be rabbits that are living in like terrible conditions. We go and get these rabbits out of bad situations, get them into foster homes, and we will try our very best with our funds to neuter and vaccinate them, and then they will go into rescue centres. And it's the reason we try and fund the neuter and the vaccinations is just to help the rescues out, because they have so many rabbits coming in. It's actually a bit of a crisis at the minute. There's so many rabbits being abandoned or neglected. It's just terrible. Rescues are absolutely bursting, so I have been fostering quite a lot of rabbits, and Chance is one of them. But Chance has been with me, I think, around 13-14 weeks now, and obviously that is a very long time to have a foster rabbit, and it is more than enough time to get attached. So that is one of the reasons I really don't want Chance to go. So when Chance came to me, it was a really bad situation. I basically saw an ad for some rabbits, for 3 rabbits living in the tiniest hutch that I'd ever seen. There was an unneutered male and unneutered female on the top, and then at the bottom of the hutch was another unneutered male. But basically the bottom of the hutch had been covered by some kind of plywood and it just had holes in it, so the rabbit couldn't see out at all. It was basically living in darkness. It was just absolutely horrific. So I went to collect these rabbits. I found rescue space straight away for the female that was on the top level, as she was potentially pregnant. So she had a rescue space with Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue in Leeds. And then the 2 boys we didn't have rescue spaces for yet, but under Bunny Angels we were funding them, and we found a foster for the male that was living on his own at the bottom, but then we didn't have a foster for the male that was living with the female. They couldn't stay together because they were unneutered, and obviously the female was potentially pregnant. So I picked them up. I drove the boy we had a foster for straight to the foster, and then I drove the female to Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue, and then this little guy was left. So he came home with me. Where's he gone? Dinner, you came home with me. And it was only meant to be very temporarily, but he's still here 14 weeks later, aren't you? Hello. Now, Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue were really kind and they said they would put him on their waiting list, so he is on that waiting list. So he may still be going there. It depends if he bonds with mine. So the plan was never to keep him. I didn't really want any more rabbits. I was quite happy with 5, which is already quite a lot. But I've literally seen Chance develop into this whole new rabbit, basically. When I got him, he was absolutely petrified. I couldn't even pick him up. He lived in my room for a bit and he used to run around my room and I could not catch him. It would take me 20 minutes to catch him because he was so nervous of people. And when I got him, he had like bald patches all over his back, scabs. It was just quite terrible, to be honest. And then when I was checking if he was a boy, I realised that something didn't look right down below, as he seemed to have a testicle missing and it all looked very infected. So of course he was rushed straight to the vets, and the vet told us that there was a testicle missing and the chances are it had been ripped off, because unfortunately in his last home the owner had let all 3 rabbits out at once to run around the garden, but obviously 2 unneutered males and an unneutered female is not good, and they obviously had a fight and poor Chance ended up with the testicle ripped off. So that's just awful. He was with me for quite a while whilst he was recovering. He was on some antibiotics and pain relief, and then fast forward, we decided to get him neutered. It had to be quite an intense operation because they had to go in internally, so kind of like a spay, and that was basically to check that the testicle has definitely come off and it wasn't inside him, because they can like retract back up inside. The result of the neuter was that they did find like bits of testicle tissue. So what they did think happened was that it was ripped off, but like whatever was left, like the little bits, had gone back up inside him. So it was a very good job that we did do the neuter that way. So he's basically had a vasectomy on one side and a neuter on the other. So now he's ready to go. But obviously, with rescues being so busy, he's still waiting such a long time for a rescue space. And as we've got so attached, I thought, you know what, I actually cannot bear to let him go. So if he bonds with mine, then he can stay. So I am going to be attempting bonding him in with mine. I don't know how it's going to go, because if you've seen my last video, you know what Robin's like. He's not very accepting of new rabbits, especially boys. He has met Chance very briefly. I did put them all in this run, but with a barrier up in the middle so they couldn't fight. However, Chance did get nipped a little bit through the mesh, as you can see. Does have a bit of a cut there, but he's absolutely fine, aren't you? And it did calm down. That was just initially, it was a bit of like a shock to the system. I then obviously double meshed it so that he couldn't get any more injuries, and then they seemed okay. Like they were just kind of getting on with things in each other's company. So I'm really, really hoping that it is possible, but who knows, because rabbits can be unpredictable at times. But yeah, so this is Chance, and that's the story of how I'm very tempted to keep him. I just watched him go from this absolutely terrified little rabbit to this confident little bun running around. He loves digging, and I've obviously got that big dig box, so he'd love it here. He loves jumping up on all the different levels. He's just such a character, aren't you? And he's dying for some friends. And because the rescue waiting list is still so long, I feel like he's just going to be waiting for ages to finally go into rescue. Then he'll go into rescue and probably be there for weeks until he is finally adopted and then bonded. So if I can get him some friends sooner, then I might as well. So that is the plan with him. I just wanted to add in an update on the other 2 rabbits that were rescued with Chance. So the other male that was kept in the bottom section of the hutch, basically living in the dark, he is now called Angelo, and he is doing very, very well. He was with his foster for, I think, 12 weeks, and then I drove him to Yorkshire Rabbit Retreat. They were amazing for taking him in, and he's now in really good hands, and he's going to be rehomed and paired up with a female rabbit. So he is very, very timid. He's not quite come round like Chance has, but I think that's because he was kept more in the dark, so he's very, very, very scared. But hopefully with time, if he gets a confident partner, then he will improve. The female was named Lily, and as I said earlier, she did go to Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue. She's doing well. She's quite a character. She was unfortunately pregnant. I think she had 6 babies, and sadly they all did pass away. It's really, really, really awful. But basically Lily was far too young to be a mum. She was only 5 months herself, and she didn't really know what she was doing. So she gave birth and the babies were just kind of scattered all over the floor. She didn't make a nest. They were given the best chance through hand rearing with Beth, who owns the rescue, and she tried her absolute best. But unfortunately, the babies were just too weak. They just could not make it without their mum, despite Beth's best efforts. So very sadly, all the babies did pass away. It's just a really, really sad situation, and those little babies should have never been brought into the world. Lily is doing okay. She does have really bad dental disease, I think. So she's probably going to have dentals for the rest of her life, which is very, very sad. That is likely to be a result of inbreeding, because the chances are all these rabbits are inbred. Luckily, Chance is doing well health-wise, and there's no problems with his teeth as yet. So hopefully he will be the lucky one in this and not have any issues. But I do wish Lily all the best, and I really hope that her issues aren't bad and that she does improve. So that's the update on Angelo and Lily. They are both such lucky rabbits to have made it into such amazing rescues. If anyone would like to donate towards the care of them whilst they're still in rescue, then please head over to the rescue's websites or Facebook pages, as I'm sure that any donations will be massively appreciated. So like I said, Angelo is with Yorkshire Rabbit Retreat and Lily is with Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue. I know that Ivy Dean Rabbit Rescue have spent a lot on Lily recently, because I think she went into stasis, and also she's got to have dentals very often, so I'm sure any donations will be massively appreciated. So yes, all 3 of these rabbits from this rescue mission are doing amazing. I am so happy that I got them out and that I've had such amazing support through Bunny Angels and the rescues. So that's the update this far. Hopefully the rabbits will all bond into a group of 6, because it would be absolutely amazing to be able to keep Chance, because I will seriously miss him if he does have to go. Another bit of exciting news that I've got is that we now have a dog. His name is Barney and he is a Romanian rescue, and he is just absolutely lovely, so I would love to introduce him to you very soon in another video. But I'm going to leave this here, and hopefully I will see you next time with a bonding video of me bonding 6, if it all goes well. So fingers crossed, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.